Hello, good evening. Nice to be with you. Thanks for having me. And wanted to share, I just took a couple of little snapshots from a tool that we use that's called Burning Glass. It's a pretty awesome tool that gives you really sort of an overview of a particular career area. So I just chose one for each of the three disciplines that we just discussed. The first one that I chose is hotel manager. So kind of on the track toward the accommodation side more than the food side. And like we talked about, this might be a job that you look at with a large hotel chain. So just kind of a snapshot to give you a sense of where you might potentially see these jobs. So the projected growth for this particular area is pretty good, average demand, so not blowing the socks off. I also did kind of a gut check. So if you look at that lower left-hand corner, you'll see there's 391 companies that have posted a hotel manager position in San Diego, and that includes North County and San Diego County, all the whole San Diego metro area in the last year. You might think to yourself, well, in the last year, we've had a lot of changes. So, especially like Amy was talking about earlier, COVID has had an impact, particularly in the hospitality areas, one of the areas that really has had some impact, but fairly robust. So most are, you'd kind of consider if I ran the numbers for the last 6 months, and in the 6 months, so from 6 months previous to just now, about 30%. So you'd think 50%, but given COVID, about 30%. So 121 positions were posted for a hotel manager within the last 6 months. So still holding fairly strong. Salary, and it does salary kind of by your education level. So as you'd imagine, as you have more education, your salary would go up. So if you're doing high school or voc training, so voc training, you may think kind of more vocational education, but that voc training really counts as a certificate. So let's say you do one of the certificates of proficiency or one of the certificates of achievement in hospitality, that kind of is lumped together with that voc training. A few $1,000s more per year for an associate's degree, so about $47,000 would be the median salary, and then for a bachelor's degree, about 55. So, like I said, the more education you have, generally, the higher the salary. In terms of education level and also years of experience, you can kind of see over on the right-hand side. It is a job where you can get in with some fairly limited experience. So about 40% of the postings would accept somebody with 0 to 2 years of experience. So kind of entering into that particular industry is a way that you could potentially get your foot in the door. But also it is a learn and earn kind of career that you can kind of work your way up and ultimately get some skills while you're going to school, and then move into maybe a management position. Same thing in terms of education level. About 37% would hire someone with a high school, and again, high school includes certificate students, so a fairly large number. And then you kind of move more toward the bachelor's degree. But again, 17% with an associate. So you sort of see the range of different possibilities there. And like I said before, average demand, about 11.5% growth over the next 10 years is kind of projected. Go to the next slide, Annie. Thanks. So this is also sort of a snapshot of the hotel industry, if you will. So the hotel manager is our job description that we were looking at, but a lot of other types of related positions. So you might say, hey, I really want to do something around concierge service. So that's the person who kind of understands and knows about the area, maybe gives recommendations for restaurants, attractions, other kinds of things like that. Maybe it's somebody that's more on the food side. So you could be kind of in the area of chef, or maybe you're doing reservation ticketing agents. So lots of different offshoots of that particular position, but kind of gives you an idea of different kinds of career pathways that might work for somebody interested in the hotel industry overall.
I can make just a comment. Years ago, I was on a trip in the Virgin Islands, and I was on a boat, and my friend and I were talking with some people on the boat, and there was a gentleman who was traveling to work on a boat in St. John, and he was an accountant for a hotel there. And I'll never forget that because he was very casual. This is before it was super casual everywhere. It was back when I had to wear a suit to work every day, and he was wearing shorts and on the boat, and this was his commute to work every day. And I was like, wow, now that's a nice accounting job. so hotels hire a lot of accountants as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right.
It is our job to have fun. It is our job to have fun in hospitality, right?
It is about the experience. It really is. It's true.
And I can imagine post-pandemic, everyone's gonna want to go on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be like a boom.
Yeah. The stir crazy folks. Okay, so I also picked a job within business administration. I chose marketing specialist. So this is a truly an entry-level job. So you should kind of look at the same snapshot as before. But if you look at it, it is a job that 54% of the people have 0 to 2 years of experience. So very much a step in the door to potentially be able to work your way up within the marketing realm. Salary wise, or actually I'll start with the number of job postings. So in the last 12 months, 1,500 positions posted for marketing specialists in San Diego County. I'll do my COVID gut check with you. About 45% of that for COVID, so about 700 positions. So fairly robust in terms of still people are still doing marketing. It might look a little bit different. There are not as many live events and things like that, but definitely still a need to try to continue to market products and services. In terms of education level, so primarily the associate's degree, you see the little small sliver, about 5%, about 94% of folks want you to have a bachelor's degree. So that's the main piece. So this is a job where maybe you're going to go do the business for transfer and then do a marketing degree. But again, a great way to get your foot in the door. And we'll talk about internships in a couple minutes, but you might do an internship and have a part-time job while you're completing your education. It's a great way to go. Fairly robust in terms of growth, about 28% over the next 10 years. And like we talked about before, the salary based on your education level, about $37,000 a year for an associate's, whereas once you do that bachelor's degree, you get a nice bump up to about $48,000 a year, almost 49. That's kind of a snapshot. And then the next slide will actually kind of take you through, you might start as a marketing specialist or a marketing assistant, but then you'll see that a related job down in that lower right quadrant is a marketing manager or a communications manager. Marketing is very much an industry where you start and you can work your way up within a potential area. Like most things, you sort of start off, but kind of move your way up within an organization. But lots of different kinds of marketing. You can do things that are more communication or PR related, advertising, things of that nature, versus doing media planning or copywriting, really specific to the promotional niche. But again, marketing specialist kind of is the hub. And then the further away you get from that, you see some different kinds of career pathways that might work for someone that's considering marketing as a career. All right. Any questions about business? I just chose marketing, but there's so many other kinds of business related jobs, really a ton of different ones, but I chose marketing because it's something I know a little bit about.
I actually had a question. I'm trying to think about like what kind of internship to apply for like next semester. And I see like with marketing, you could go the route of like data analytics, or you could also do like the real marketing aspect of it. Like if I were to want, like I'm a business economics major, like what do you think would look better? Like more like focus on data analytics or the actual marketing itself?
Like the creative side.
Yeah, part of that is what your passion is. Some people love the creative piece, but almost any marketing that's done these days has a digital part. And with that comes the analytics piece. So knowing that is super important. On the econ side, kind of that economics piece sort of leads me to think that maybe you're more in the big picture of how does this product fit or service or whatever it might be that you're marketing fit within the context of the economy. But it comes with what you're passionate about. My career was very much focused on product development and product marketing, and how you start with an idea and turn it into a product and do test marketing, other kinds of things. I love that. It was very much a varied kind of thing day to day. I think it really is maybe a little bit of soul searching about what you like and what interests you. And sometimes the opportunity comes based on the industry. So maybe there's a particular industry that you're really into that you kind of feel a love or an interest for. My own was in the medical and biotechnology realm. So did a lot of product development, product marketing for those types of areas, but it's really kind of what you like. It's not about what looks better. It's more about, could I see myself doing this on a day-to-day basis? So I'd say if you have an opportunity to try analytics, and if you have sort of a personality that lends itself to numbers and kind of enjoying that piece, I think that's really important, but it'll serve you no matter what you do, because it's the wave of the future. You know, the way that marketing is going, it's very much turned into a data business where you're, the formulas are created to try to figure out how you get the most bang for your buck with regard to digital platforms and that kind of thing. It's very much how it looks these days. So I know that didn't really answer your question, but I think, okay. Yeah, part of it is,
it depends. Like, and it's also like, it would be helpful to like, I find that like after like an experience, like with a company, like you'll probably be like, I either really want to do this or I don't. Yes. So it's kind of going to be like trial and error, but yep. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that answer.
No, sure. And I think that's really a great testimony for doing an internship and trying something, because if you invest a ton of money and you do a data science degree and you really are into this whole digital data-driven marketing thing, and then you start doing it day to day and you realize you don't like it, that's tough. So doing it at the community college level, I'm really a huge proponent of that, because you decide what you like and do a little process of elimination before you invest a lot of money into your bachelor's degree and figure out where your interests and your passions lie. A great stepping stone or piece of advice, and we'll talk a little bit about this in a second, is talking to a career counselor. They're really great at helping you kind of do some of that discovery work about yourself to say, hey, what really does, what is it about this that excites me? Is it the creative part? Is it the data side? Is it the big picture? Is it product development? Is it supply chain? You know, there's so many different aspects of marketing. So I'd encourage you to maybe try and set up a career counseling appointment. We just hired a brand new career counselor named Stacy Mathis, and she's awesome. And I know how to find you, Brittany, so I can actually connect the two of you, but that might be a good thing to do, just to kind of discuss some of that and do some of those assessments to see where your passions and interests lie.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay. And the last one I chose is for the accounting area, and it is the accountant. And the income, the salary chart looks a little bit different for this one, because if you look at the education level, to be hired as an accountant, and we'll look at some of the ancillary types of things to an accountant as a position in a second, but 99% of accountants have a bachelor's degree, and a few have more education, but it's rare that you would be an accountant without having that bachelor's degree. And in terms of experience, you can, the whole accountant system, and Dolores can kind of talk to this a little bit more, but if you're on a track toward a CPA and an accountant position, especially with one of the big four accounting firms, you know, it's pretty prescriptive that you're probably going to do an internship in your junior year of your university track, and ultimately then work toward potentially going to work for one of those firms. You know, sort of like the real trial and error of, could I see myself working within this company? So very high demand, about 37,098 and 3,700 or almost 3,800 positions in the last year. And my COVID takeaway is about half of that, about actually about 40%. So 1564 within the last 6 months. So a little bit, around 40%, 41% compared to the non-COVID numbers that we're showing here. Projected growth about 10.9% in the next 10 years. So a solid, it's solid. While there is the accountant position, a lot of the other certificates that Dolores was talking about and career pathways, things like auditing or tax or bookkeeping, they're all kind of around there, but lots of related positions. And we didn't really talk about what the salary was specifically, but it's very good. But you might consider, having a position within a company as a bookkeeper or doing a specific part of the accounting process, accounts payable, accounts receivable. The success story that you shared, Dolores, was really cool because there's in addition to just really neat experiences, sort of progression of increasing responsibility for our student that you talked a little bit about. But accounting is very solid and lots of different areas that, again, you can explore based on your interests and what you might want to do. So the last slide is really just to share a little bit more about how we at the Career Center can kind of support you on your pathway. The first couple bullets are really designed to think about, hey, if I'm really unsure about what my major is, if you're thinking about one of these three areas, but you're unsure, assessments are a great way. So sort of like what I was talking about with Brittany, actually, I was thinking more of number 2 there for you, Brittany, but maybe even if you've decided on a specific major, but you're not certain about the kind of job, career counselors are really good at taking the realm of all different possibilities and helping you kind of narrow it down to 1 or 2 potential pathways that really kind of match your interests, your skills, what you're good at, where you're something that you can see yourself doing long term. Those are really, really helpful conversations and kind of helping you focus on where you see yourself. Once you're on your way, we also can help with some guidance to pursue an internship. It's a great way. I think everyone that we talked to today, some of the students as well as faculty have had that experience where you really are trying something out. And I'm a huge believer in the process of elimination, that if you try something, it's an okay experience to say, I didn't really like this, because then you haven't invested thousands of dollars in a degree that maybe is in something that's not relevant to what you see yourself doing. So it's a great way to kind of test drive and confirm your career pathway once you've had a chance to do that. And then maybe you're in a situation, think about COVID and people who had job losses and other kinds of things. Maybe you're in a position where you need a job right now. We can also help with all the resources that you might need, help with a resume, practicing interviewing. We have a job board, we call it Jane, but it's a way to be able to ultimately get to the point where you can look at resources to find specific jobs, people who want to hire MiraCosta students, either as interns or as employees. And so great opportunities, and our contact information's there to get in touch, and we're eager to help.